saw a very interesting comment here, and it was relating to a question I asked in one of my videos. I asked and said, how many PlayStation gamers went ahead and bought themselves an Xbox so that they could play the game Starfield? And I asked that question to so-called Xbox fanboys on the internet that are upset about a rumor that Starfield will be going to the PlayStation platform. It's just a rumor. We don't know. I'm all for it, by the way. I don't know if you guys have known. You can go back all the way through when Xbox was talking about Hi-Fi Rush. I was the first person that was saying, yee-hoo, Xbox, put your games everywhere, make that money, and let exclusivity die. Okay? So I have no dog in the fight of exclusivists. I make fun of them sometimes. I call them out. I point out the flaws in their arguments, because their arguments don't make sense in today's economic reality, okay? I believe that if a game can sell as many copies, the studio has a shot at making games. Hence, I believe that as a result, we get more games. This audience member put out this comment here. They said, you sound ridiculous, asking how many PlayStation gamers will put down their preferred platform to buy a Xbox just to play one or two games. Actually, I don't sound ridiculous mentioning that point, because that is the point that I made to actually defeat the exclusivity argument, and I drove a lot of PlayStation fanboys mad with that particular line of thinking. I'm so glad that you thought it to be a roast, but what you've determined to be a roast was something that I'd already basically used as a checkmate for those who were saying that exclusivity was some kind of an attractive force for players to actually go about entering an ecosystem and buying $600, $500, $300 worth of machine to then spend $60 or $7 worth of, digital software to then play one game. In a video of mine from June 30th, 2024, which I titled The $600 Question, I asked this question and said, how many of you would spend $600 to play one video game? In that video right there, I had people who, in my opinion, were losing their minds. I mean, I literally unnerved the entire fanboy base. I literally peeled it apart. People were insulting, cussing. I was blocking those bad faith actors that did not want to answer the question because they had to dance around it. Because what I did was I raised the temperature of the floor, and I wanted to see who was going to remain calm and who was going to dance. And boy, was there a lot of dancing going on in that particular video. So again, and I've made, different videos with that theme, by the way. That video just happened to have that main theme. But you know me, I'll make 5 videos on the exact same topic. And so we basically blended it out to realize that the reality is most gamers are not interested in doing that for one single video game, simply because the market is just too saturated for that kind of a joke. Right? So I'm sure you probably thought you were wanting to come and own me in this conversation, but sorry, I hate exclusivity so much that I've decided that I will try my best to ensure that any of these exclusivist arguments that come around, I can just basically cut the legs off of them real quick. Now, you went ahead and said and your reason was, when nearly all, if not all, the Xbox games on here are not on fewer older Xbox games are coming to PlayStation anyways, and future Xbox games are most likely releasing day and date on PlayStation 5, and almost 100% chance of day and date by the time PS6 is out. Well, the reality is this is happening because Xbox has seen that this is the way to make money, because when you actually think about the $600 question, no one wants to go ahead and switch platforms that easily because of a few games. So the $600 question is where Xbox is trying to capitalize upon. Do you understand? Because again, even on their ecosystem on Xbox, most Xbox players are playing live service games. So when you sell to all of the available Xbox players out there, when you sell to all of the available PC gamers out there, you're left with nobody else to sell your game to. Maybe you can, push a few more copies on sale after so many years. However, your studio needs money to be coming in. It is this particular reality of the money that needs to be coming in that starts to pretty much put you in a position where you got to go out there and you got to farm dollars. If you don't do this, you can take the PlayStation approach and fire your developers so that you can reduce your expenses so that your profits look like they're actually going up. It's basically shifting the burden to somebody. And many of you PlayStation fanboys, you love that particular, you love that particular setup where devs get fired so that you can feel warm about your exclusives. I know. I mean, many of you have said, yeah, nothing about it or nothing against it. So you're somehow by your silence complicit with it or in favor of it. That's how I'm going to go with the assumption until y'all jump out of word work and say, no, VG, we don't like firing of devs for our exclusives, which will make you then concede that your games being exclusive is a stupid idea. But it's okay. I'm waiting for you to come to that conclusion verbally because you know in your heart that it is a stupid idea for exclusives in today's day and age in the saturated market. But let's keep reading your comment. You said, I have a Series X also, but only use it for older Xbox Live Arcade games and a few 360 games. But Xbox gamers have nobody but themselves to blame for being taught to not buy games and accepting it. Now, this is funny, though, that anybody would say that Xbox gamers have themselves to blame for being taught to not buy games when the highest played games on Xbox and the games that players spend their time, majority of their time playing on Xbox, are basically the same games that PlayStation gamers spend majority of their times playing. They're the time playing. So you mean to tell me that these same Xbox players that are not buying games are different from the PlayStation players that play the same games as they do? Nah, the data doesn't show. In fact, we're happy that we have the data. So this pedantic, silly argument that you brought up here, or you tried to bring up here, is one that has been basically destroyed. You're arguing as if it's like freaking October of 2023. Come on now. We've hit 2025 and we had Piscatella on the news tell you that Fortnite is beating all your games. You see, PlayStation gamers, y'all be talking about this stuff, but your studios are closing left and right because y'all are not buying the games. In fact, the evidence of y'all not buying the games is being felt on a human level now. That's how bad it is because you spend all your time and all your efforts and all your attention on these so-called top 10 live service games that continue to show up every single week in the engagement tracker. You guys are addicts of Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K, and freaking whatever WWE games are coming out. Madden, Minecraft, Roblox, and now Marvel Rivals is your drug, just the same as majority of the Xbox players. Not saying that that's actually a terrible thing, but it gives away the reality and actually shuns the attempt that you've tried to make here to malign the Xbox user when you yourself, talking about how you have multiple consoles, doesn't matter because you can play PlayStation and Xbox games on both, are just lying to yourself because we know that only 4% of gamers are going to buy more than one game every month. You're not going to buy these so-called Xbox games on PlayStation if they're not on sale, most likely. There is a high chance that you'll talk, and a lot of these other PlayStation fanboys will talk all over the internet and probably not buy these games. The data betrays you. It exposes you. I'm just laughing. Like, who makes this argument anymore? I haven't seen a PlayStation fanboy in months make this argument, and it's just so funny just to see anybody try to make that sound. Oh well, I play whichever games. My dude, you ain't buying jack. Stop capping. We're all buying games on sale. Like, we're not denying it. I'm here on the Steam sale scrolling going, yeah, who's going to give me a $2.99 game? And if I don't see it, if I see it on Steam, I go to CD Keys. I'm like, is it $1.99 on Steam? We're all doing this bargain gaming thing. Let's not sit here and act like, one person is a high roller and one person is a baller spending $70 to $90 per game on different consoles. What the heck is that? That's not a flex. These companies, that's why the execs are driving. That's why their children are in private schools, bro. And we're over here on YouTube, and our children are going to public schools. It's because they want you to think that the flex is actually some kind of a status symbol. If you're buying that bogus nonsense, I I, I absolutely encourage you to stop it and wait for the sales and reduce that 4% if you possibly can to 2%, because the gaming industry has not yet woken itself up properly to say it deserves the benefit of the doubt and the monies that we have been giving them. And Xbox recognizes this. Xbox recognizes this. And what do? They position themselves to say, we're just not going to BS the gamers. We're just going to give you the game. We're going to give you an option to play the game, and you get to entertain yourself however you want. So talking about Xbox gamers being trained not to buy games while you have an Xbox, and all the PlayStation talking heads that say that stuff have Game Pass, almost every single one of them. Almost every single one of them. MBG, oh, I might have to get Game Pass. Quote, that's a quote from him when he saw what Xbox was cooking. Huh? Reforge, oh, I can't believe I got Avowed when the early access was 20. He was shocked at the value proposition. Quote from him. All of them. Nib95. Oh, well, I used the Xbox benefits to be able to get up to 3 years of Game Pass, blah, blah, blah. They all have Game Pass. And they're over here basically selling you a bunch of, dead grass. Don't be fooled by them. They're not, even they themselves aren't buying a lot of these games. They come out there and they flex and they say, well, we bought these PlayStation games. When they sit down in the podcast and they sit there and they take your super chats, and what do you think they do with your super chats? They go convert them into PlayStation Plus, subscriptions, and they buy the $70, $80 games from the monies that you're basically donating to them, while you use your hard-earned money to go buy those games at full price so that all of you can basically tussle and turn in a feel-good, hand-holdy, kumbaya community of we buy games. Please, let's wake up. Talk to me in the comment section. I saw this comment and I started to just laugh because I thought to myself, my goodness, this is such a 2023 comment, in the sense this person needs to come and join the reality of nobody says this thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like the reality has moved so fast, right? Against such terrible notions and poorly shaped, arguments, that now anybody who makes this, you're going to cause yourself a lot of, stare. If you try that, people are going to be like, whoa, were you in a time machine? Did you just literally get lost in time and then show up, to make this very strange, weak argument? Nah, don't do that, man. Comment section. Thanks for watching. Peace out.